Welcome to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by the Veteran Rescue Mission.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to show you?
Let's bring it.
Okay, as he said, welcome to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean, here with my bosom buddy, Andreas Ruiz, and I think we have another amazing show for them today. What do you think?
Absolutely, man. We have two amazing women coming on.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
And like usual, you bring some powerhouse women on this show. So
Yeah, I know the majority of the people that I bring are women. They're
You're just like a
powerhouse.
bridge. You're a bridge to us connecting with that feminine power in Tucson. So
Yeah, and we need more of
you.
that, man. That machismo's got to die. So
get rid
let's
of
do
it. Yeah, that toxic masculinity must leave with this show.
yeah.
Right. And that cool voice. No, I'm not gonna say cute like I would with one of my other kids or one of Andreas's kids, but my eldest son Tristan is here in studio with us to I guess kind of make sure our swagger's on 100, right?
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we said, this is the Common Good Radio Show, and we have an excellent show for you today. We have
Alicia Cramer.
Mrs. Alicia Cramer in studio with us here today, and I don't know. This is weird. I almost feel like this is the first time we've had another coach on other than Dr. J. So this will be
so.
this will be
gonna
cool.
fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it'll be cool bringing that
excited.
energy here today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. And then on the second half of the show, we will have Kathy Castellum from
Metropolitan
there we go.
Education
Man, I knew I could butcher it. You give me a chance, I'll butcher it.
I know,
no questions
man.
asked. Yeah, and she's with the Metropolitan Education Commission. So that's
she's really cool too.
Awesome.
You'll love her.
Yeah. So all you at your houses or in your cars, or maybe you're laying next to the pool listening to the radio, you guys enjoy yourself because we have an amazing show for you today.
Yes, sir.
But just like we do every show, we would be behance if we did not give the grace to the very loving God that has blessed us oh so very much. As you know, we get to be here to talk to you today, so you can already hear one of the blessings. And you guys are blessed because we get to put on a show for you. But we want to go ahead and show some love to our Father by reading the Lord's Prayer. And it goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. So, that being said, let's turn to the woman of the next, I think, at least 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Alicia Cramer, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, guys, both of you, and our new DJ here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, spitting the ones and twos in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So I guess tell us what is Alicia Cramer coaching, and kind of, I guess, fill in the audience and myself, who's just learning about what you do.
Sure. Well, I've been a business mindset coach for over a decade now. It started many, many, many years ago on my own deep healing journey. I had a lot of work to do. I was pretty rough around the edges. So part of it was out of necessity, which I think is how a lot of us fall into our life's work. We feel called to do something, and that calling does not go away. There are people that are listening right now who they've been feeling inspired to take some step forward in their life. And our mindset, all of that old conditioning, those voices that are telling us we're not good enough, we're not capable, it's not safe, those are the things that we have to overcome, because that calling will not go away. It won't.
Absolutely.
It will keep pushing at you until you say yes to yourself. Well, what I found was I loved working with entrepreneurs. I love business owners. I was an aspiring entrepreneur as early as 18.
wow.
Filed bankruptcy in my early 20s. You know, I've got the same story that a lot of other business owners have. When I got into, I'll just kind of take a step back. So I was going through life and got pregnant. I was 28 years old. I was managing a cell phone store, and I was not happy because I was not fulfilling my calling.
Yeah.
And the thought of sending my baby off to some stranger to raise him, essentially, while I was working 10, 12 hours a day at a job that was completely unfulfilling, I could not accept that. So I decided I have to do it right this time. I have to do business right this time. I've got to overcome all of my mindset stuff, and I've got to learn how to grow a truly successful business so that I can raise my son on my terms.
Nice.
I got my certification as a hypnotherapist. And I opened a local brick and mortar hypnotherapy practice in Wisconsin where I was living at the time. And I just kept working on my mindset. When I said that I love working with business owners, what ended up happening was I was doing all of the general hypnotherapy stuff. You know, people would come in for weight loss, smoking cessation. And every now and again, a business owner would come in and we would be working through their fears, their doubts, their insecurities, their confidence issues. And I would get so fired up. I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. It felt so aligned. So I started to transition away from general hypnotherapy to working with clients, not only in my local practice, but on the phone and using Skype. So I could work with clients internationally. And it really did transition away from hypnotherapy into using a lot of the different tools and techniques and everything that I was implementing in myself to help clients to get out of their own way and achieve their dreams. Because, you know, like I said, that it doesn't go away. You have to say yes to yourself, and then you need the tools in order to get out of your own way so that you can achieve the level of success and fulfillment that your heart desires. So that is the long, short story.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And I love how you say that a lot of entrepreneurs get in their own way, and it's that self-sabotage that happens a lot. And so, you know, I get what you mean when you say you get fired up about helping these people, and I see the passion in you come out just amazing. So I love it. But
yeah, we will discuss that and more. Definitely look forward to hearing more about this after the break here with Alicia Cramer, with Alicia Cramer Coaching. But I have a friend, his name's Andreas Ruiz, that may be able to help you out with some little touchy points yourself.
Yeah. If you're a person who's looking to take their life to the next level, if you want to have that belief, to have the confidence in yourself, and overcome, you know, procrastination and get into action so that you can find your life's purpose and create a legacy, hit me up. I believe in myself coaching at gmail.com.
This is our, what do you say, like a 40th show by this time?
Man, I don't know. It's almost it's going to be a year, huh? July?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
So just imagine if this has been our 40th show.
Good stuff.
And I do that 4 times every show. I've done that probably at least 60 or 70 times. So this thing that we do, which I mean, even Andreas, I hate to don't want to put you on blast, but every now and again when he does it, he messes it up so bad.
Welcome to the Common Good. Man, what was it again?
But everybody, welcome to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here with pretty much one of my best friends in the whole world. You probably can make the argument my best friend in the whole world, Andreas Ruiz with I Believe in Myself Coaching.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, and definitely excited to have Alicia here on the show because I connected with her just last week, I think. We just...
Really?
Yeah.
You do that, man. You're magic.
Man, and I connected with her immediately. We had a good conversation, and we just were... I don't know, man. We're just jamming. So
I think we're kindred spirits.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's a circle, you know, and it's like every now and again you'll find other people that are part of that circle, and you're like, do I know you?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? We gotta do something. What are we supposed to do? And that's a funny thing about, and that's why I always say God has such a sense of humor, because it's just like you don't know. It's like, it's not like, oh, you meet some, like I met Andreas, I'm like, that's what we got to do together. That makes sense. It's just like me and him fiddle-faddled around with so many things. We're still fiddle-faddling around with stuff to figure out, what it feels like God put us in each other's lives with. But so far, so good, bud.
Mhm.
I'm fine.
Yeah, man. No, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And like I said, I get to meet so many amazing people. I actually met her through Diana, and then I met her, and then it's just been amazing. So, but getting back to Alicia here, we kind of talked a little bit about your journey and coaching and all that good stuff. But I did notice that you have some books, which is really cool. So, tell us about your books. I saw the Outside the Box Entrepreneur and Hypnosis for Success. Like, what inspired you to write those books?
So when I had my hypnotherapy practice, I got a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. There are so many myths and misconceptions about hypnotherapy. It was a book that came out of necessity because I wanted to be able to dispel the myths and misconceptions. Those things hold people back from utilizing hypnosis as a tool to overcome old issues and achieve their goals. Many years later, when I had transitioned away from general hypnotherapy and was much more focused on the business mindset coaching, the second book just sort of happened. I just felt inspired one day, and I sat down and I wrote for hours. And it just kind of came out of me. So it's a smaller one. Some people have literally 500-page books. It's not. It's an easy read, but
I love it. I love those.
It's just to help inspire people, to get them pointed in the right direction, to give them a couple little helpful tools and techniques where they can start to make some of those internal changes for themselves.
That's beautiful to hear. I mean, I think me and Andreas can both attest, and I think we preach. It's a lot easier to write a book than people give it credit for. I mean, and a lot of it, it's just that discipline that we hear a lot about, but it's so needed. I mean, it's the same. I mean, my book, a little over 120, 130 pages. Andreas' book, I think a little over 60 pages.
It was 81 pages.
Yeah,
really
and it's
short and
it doesn't
sweet,
take much, but just that information being out there is huge. And secondarily, from the individual standpoint, putting a book out there, it's just it really helps you get into a mindset that kind of helps you get to that next place. I guess speak to that a little bit.
Well, there's a couple of different things that I can say about the book. Now, from a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense. It is a great marketing and credibility boosting tool. So one thing that I did not talk much about was, for a long time, I had a second division of my coaching practice, which was doing business development consulting. So I have a very extensive marketing background as well. And I have used those skills to help many other business owners get themselves out there. So it's one of those win-win things, right? You're helping to share your wisdom, your guidance, to inspire people. And books are powerful. I mean, what do they say? Leaders are always readers. It is so true.
Yeah.
Most people that I work with who are very, very successful, they are always reading. They are always in a constant state of growth.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I love that you say that, because I know before I was on this personal development journey, I wouldn't read. I would read Maximum magazines, and I wouldn't even read them. I would just go flip through them. And so I would read 12 of those a year, once a month, but I wasn't even reading them. I was just flipping through them. But once I started reading and started listening to personal development audios, that completely changed my life forever. And, so speaking of that, for anyone that's trying to up level their mindset, what advice would you give them aside from reading? What would you tell them?
You really have to treat it like I don't want to use the word discipline because it does have sort of a negative connotation, but it's no different than if you want to get your body in shape. You can go to the gym and you can get some fairly rapid gains by going consistently. But if you want to maintain that muscle mass, you have to keep going. You have to keep working
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, our society has conditioned us. You know, what do you do when you have a headache? You grab a pill, right? You're always looking for the quick fix. And I know in my generation, that became a really big thing. Everything was about the quick fix. And it conditions us to think that there's just a quick fix, that there's just one key to success. Couldn't be further from the truth. It is an ongoing journey, and you have to maintain the discipline. Really, it needs to be a passion. It needs to become a part of you. It becomes the way that you do things. You're always reaching for more. Because if you know, it's a cliche. They say if you're not growing, you're dying. But there is a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, and I love what you said about passion, and just you have to have that passion. If you don't have that passion, then you won't do it 100%.
Absolutely not. How many people say, I want to lose weight? And they start eating healthy for maybe a couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. And oftentimes they haven't really committed to themselves. And then they fall right back into old habits. And before you know it, they're actually 5 pounds heavier than they were when they started the journey. So it is a real, genuine decision. It's a decision that I love myself enough that I'm doing this for me.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And that's key right there, loving yourself. But that could be like a topic we could talk about.
That's a big
we could talk about that for days. But for anyone that would like to work with you, where can they reach you?
My website is the best place to learn about what I'm doing and to contact me. It is aliciacramer.com, ALICIACRAMER.com.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, man, this was amazing. I knew you were going to bring some great nuggets here, and definitely learned a lot today. And it's always good the repetition, listening over and over again. I love listening to people like yourself. You inspire me, and thank you for being here on the Common Good Radio Show. We appreciate you. So,
yeah, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you guys and what you're doing.
Man, yeah. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show.
I want to think he's almost caught you at this point.
I think he's past me, man. Because trust me, I'm not. It's I'm getting there. I'm learning. Yeah, it's almost been a year, but hey, man, you just got here today, so shoot, you're definitely ahead of me. But yeah, man, I'm really excited right now to have our next guest that I met. I want to say maybe last year, like in November, December. But Kathy and I connected very well, and Kathy Gastelum is here on the phone from Metropolitan Education Commission. Welcome to the show, Kathy. How you doing today?
Thank you so much, Andres. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Tucson, so I can't complain. It's a little hot, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, so grateful to have you here. You know, you're just such an amazing woman that, you know, when we connected, when we spoke over the Zoom call, we were just, you know, so in sync with our passions and the purpose that we have for our community. So, so thank you for being here. And, you know, just to get things started, I just want to ask you, Kathy, tell us what is Metropolitan Education Commission?
Yeah, so the Metropolitan Education Commission, we're a nonprofit, and I've been in this role of executive director since November 2020. So we're a nonprofit organization that promotes education advocacy, youth leadership and employability skills, and college access. So like we have different events that promote each of them. So like the education advocacy, it goes in line with like our Regional College Access Center, with what our commissioners advocate for. So we have like a couple of early childhood advocates on the commission. And like our youth leadership, we have our Youth Advisory Council, and we have a number of events with them where they're able to take on leadership roles and responsibilities. And pre-COVID, we had our, for employability skills, we had our Key to Employment, which is kind of like a big like career fair where youth from all over the city of Tucson and Pima County would come in and learn about the different types of career pathways that, you know, they would go to. Because, you know, even though I am a huge advocate for higher education, the reality is that, you know, some kids, they don't want to go to college, and that's okay. But here are some tools that you can use when you're navigating the workforce. So, you know, we have different types of events, you know, that align with our mission and our vision. So our Youth Advisory Council, that's made up of youth from Tucson in Pima County, and they're very active in planning our annual Teen Town Hall, which is when, pre-COVID, 400 to 500 youth would come together from all over the city of Tucson and Pima County and just talk about issues that are important to them. Of course, this year we had to make some modifications, so we were able to have a virtual Teen Town Hall, our very first one in February 2021. And it was so amazing. The youth were able to talk about things like COVID-19, mental health, teen suicide, college access. And it was such a great experience where they were able to, take the mic and, the adults in the room, they participated as well, but you could really tell that they were just there to listen. So it was a really great experience. We have a number of different events that align with our youth advocacy, but that's really the main one.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said at the end, that the adults were just there to listen, and sometimes that's what these youth need. And it sounds like your organization is doing a lot of that, because you're not just telling them, hey, yeah, maybe college is not for you, maybe you just need a job. And that's beautiful that you cover both sides. It's not just one-sided, like where it's just go to college and that's it. But I just love everything that you do, so that's why I had to have you on. And I want to ask you, what inspired you to do this type of work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I am a product of the public education here in Tucson. But originally I started in private education all the way through 8th grade. And then for high school, I went to Pueblo High School. And, being enrolled in, the formerly banned Raza Studies program, I don't know if you all have heard of that, but it was a program that was banned, and there has been attack and a ban on it from 2006 to 2010, but it's no longer banned anymore. But those classes just totally changed my life. It was the first time where I saw authors who looked like me, who had experiences similar to me, who wrote about familial experiences that were similar to mine. And I just really made a great connection to the material in those courses. And, even the teachers, so, I have to give a shout out to Sally Rusk and Yolanda Sotelo for being my inspiration. And we still keep in touch to this day, because they really opened my eyes to being an educator, to being a very intentional community educator. So, that just really set the pathway for me to be a lifelong learner. So after I graduated from Pueblo, right after that, I enrolled in Pima. Literally a few weeks after I graduated, I started at Pima. So then I had a few setbacks, and I eventually graduated the same year with my associates and with my bachelor's in English from the University of Arizona. And then I went on, right after I graduated with my bachelor's, I went on to my master's in secondary education program, which gave me all of the certifications and the content that I needed to become an English teacher. And I eventually went back to Pueblo High School to teach in the very same classroom that I was in.
Oh, wow.
It came full circle. And, a side note is that I actually had the same textbooks that I had while I was a student. I had to use those as a teacher. So it was just a real, eye-opening experience, to, look at the, from the equity lens. So then I went on to get my PhD in Mexican American Studies and Educational Leadership and Policy, also from the U of A. I chose that major because, this is my life's work. I love giving back to the community. I love serving as a role model for my students and for the community members. It's just a real great experience being involved in the community and teaching a subject that I love.
I love that. Yeah. And I love how you said, you saw people just like you that were authors, and that built the credibility, that built the belief that you could do it as well. And these mentors that helped you, it inspired you to become a mentor yourself. But yeah, we definitely want to hear more about what you have to say in regards to the work that you're doing, the amazing things that are going on. But yeah, I'm so glad to be back again with Kathy Gastelum. Amazing stories, very inspirational. And you're inspiring me today with the stories that you're telling me to just, keep doing this work, and how you said, people just like us, if we see that, we can believe that it could be possible for us. So, again, thank you for being on the show, Kathy.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm happy to be here. You're an inspiration to me, too, on this. So thank you for the work that you do.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. So, getting back to, the questions here that we have for you in regards to your organization, I know COVID has been something that has affected everybody, but how has COVID affected your organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I came into this role in November of 2020. And to my understanding, the MEC has never officially closed for the pandemic, so I'm grateful for that. But we have seen a decrease in students enrolling in our services. So, students aren't, coming to the Regional College Access Center to get help with their FAFSA or, look at different plans to set so they can, attend higher education. We are seeing a decrease in students. But honestly, it's across the board. And, with our partners that are, located throughout the city of Tucson and also statewide, it's just a very big decrease in students seeking higher education access information. And even in regards to our Youth Advisory Council, since our very first meeting in November when I started, there has been a very big decline in the students who are participating compared to what it was before winter break and then after winter break and then now at the end of the school year. But we did have a great group of students who did remain engaged and active. So I'm grateful for them too. And it was just a reminder that, even though we are going through these challenging times, we still need to show up for the students who want to be involved, who are still going to the weekly meetings, who still want the accessibility assistance. So there's still that decrease, and we're hoping that it'll increase in the upcoming academic year. As the executive director, I do plan to be more visible, whether it's through Zoom or if it's safe to go in person. I do want to get back out in the schools so we can get those numbers back up again.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And so just kind of like, what are some things that you have done just to adjust to COVID? Like, what are some things that you had to change up and maybe do to just adjust to COVID? What is your organization doing to just adjust to this?
Yeah, so it has been a challenge, because we have had our usual traditional in-person fundraising events, specifically the Crystal Apple fundraiser, where we recognize teachers located throughout the city of Tucson and community leaders for their dedication to education. So we did have to adjust that. That's our biggest fundraising event each year. But of course, we had to, we originally postponed it, and then myself and the executive board just made the decision to have it virtually so we could honor our award recipients that were supposed to have been awarded in 2020. So, we had our first virtual Crystal Apple fundraiser event, which it turned out to be very beautiful, even though I was stressing out behind the scenes. It was a really, really great event, and we were able to raise over $6,000,
nice.
Which I'm so grateful for. And folks were participating. They were really engaged. We still receive compliments for it. But we would like to get back to those in-person events because, of course, it's more, there's more interaction. It's more fun, of course, in person. But we did have to adjust to the virtual environment. And for our Regional College Access Center, with our partnership with Arizona Serve, we started holding virtual workshops on different things like applying to college and even virtual college tours, resume workshops, cover letter workshops, and everything was just done virtually. So I think that was the biggest adjustment that the organization had to make, and that I was able to move forward because I was really comfortable with Zoom and, going live on Facebook and things like that. But I am anxious to get back in person at some point, hopefully in the next year.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, definitely. And I look forward to, like you said, seeing you out in the community again, because I think that's sometimes what people need. It's just that in person, just so that they can see you, kind of like, when you talked a little bit earlier about like, so that they can see people like you that, that they're doing amazing things and that they can do it themselves too. And speaking of doing amazing things, this is a little bit something that you did on your personal, you personally, which I loved your article, Smiling Brown in the Face of Colorism, and so I want to talk about that a little bit. Tell us about that and the story behind what inspired you to write this article.
Well, thank you so much. It took 4 years, well, longer than almost 5 years, actually.
Wow.
Because I started that my first year of my PhD program. So,
nice.
The Smiling Brown project is pioneered by my it's pioneered by my dissertation chair, Dr. Roberto Rodriguez. So I was really intrigued by the testimonials that he received. The testimonials are the oral histories, because they detailed such negative and pervasive experiences, especially as young people. And, sometimes they would detail, physical harm that they would do to themselves, like scrubbing themselves with a Brillo pad because they felt their skin color was too dark. They weren't held to the same standards that people with light skin were held to. So it just made me question, like, where is the status of beauty originating from? And of course, it's from, colonization. And it's just so deeply embedded in our society. And, I recognize my privilege as a light-skinned Mexican woman, but I've always admired, darker skin tones and indigenous features. So, I just started the analysis of the testimonials. And, it was honestly an emotional and very exhausting process because of the details that people provided about, growing up, having darker features and having darker skin tones, having curly hair. I have curly hair myself. And, it was just a real eye-opening experience that's very common in the Latinx community, but nobody's talking about it. So I wanted to use my research and my analysis as a way to break that silence and start talking about it. And, there was not a specific prompt that anyone was asked when they composed their testimonials, but they were very similar experiences. So those are the themes that I highlight in the article are the ones that were the most common. And, even in talking with my former students and community members, they can either personally relate to it or they have witnessed colorism themselves. So, nobody's talking about it. So, the real main point of the article was to create more awareness of what our deeply embedded biases are,
Yeah, and why do you feel that people are not talking about it? Why do you think that is?
I think because, it's very, in mainstream media, there have been a number of articles written about how, even celebrities like Beyonce or the Kardashians, how they have their photos, modified so they can look like they're lighter skin. And, it's just so common. And, if that's what we're seeing in the media and in movies by people that we admire and love, like their music and their shows and whatnot, it's hard not to favor how they look.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like, media definitely has a big impact on a lot of people. And I speak to a lot of kids, a lot of youth, and they go by what they look like. And, when you talk about that, if somebody has, darker skin or something like that, like it could definitely have an effect when you see somebody who looks just perfect, which really it's not real. But, that's why you do these Photoshops and people look like they're perfect. But it sounds like social media has a big influence on people and the way that they feel about colorism. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've even seen ads, because I do a lot of research on like colorism and skin color preference. So, in my ads, when I was on Instagram, I would get ads that would be for like skin highlighter or skin lightener, things
okay.
to lighten up my skin.
Wow.
You know, so if people are looking up things like hair straightener, because like I straighten my hair too, like it'll come up, and then it's like these ads like, oh well, you need to have this shade of skin to be valued. You need to have this texture of hair to look pretty or to look attractive. You know, so it's indirectly fed to pretty much everybody, you know, depending on, you know, what types of, you know, things they're looking at on the internet. But, you know, there's all these different types of ads for products to modify physical appearances.
Yeah, no, yeah, completely agree. So thank you for sharing that. It's so true, everything that you said. And, you know, I just want to say thank you again, Kathy, for being on the show. And just for people out there that, you know, want to connect with Metropolitan Education Commission, how can they reach you?
Yeah, of course. So we are primarily working remotely until further notice, but we can be reached via email at info@metedu.org. We hope to be back in the office soon, but in the meantime, that's the best way to reach us or to reach me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kathy, for being on the show. I appreciate you so much. We will be in touch.